The Four Kingdoms. By Clifton Andrew Mather. Copyright 2026. The Council of Appointment. A short story from the Chronicles of Highcrest. The great hall of Highcrest was quiet except for the low crackle of the hearth. The two brother kings, Aldric and Rowan, stood at the long oak table, the circle of 7 gathered around them like pillars of iron. Caelan, Dorian, Garrick, Finian, and Brennar waited in respectful silence. Aldric placed both hands on the table. "We cannot lead every corner of this land with our own hands," he said. "Highcrest grows, the borders stretch, the people look to us for order." Rowan nodded, arms crossed, jaw set. Caelan stepped forward. "Then we appoint commanders, 10 men of proven loyalty, men who will not bend." Dorian added, "Men who will not seek crowns of their own." Garrick grinned. "Men who can hold a line without us watching over their shoulders." Aldric looked to Rowan. "Brother, speak it plainly." Rowan exhaled. "We choose 10 commanders, but above them we place 2 men who will keep them aligned, a supreme ruler and a right hand. They will answer to us, and the commanders will answer to them." Finian leaned on the table. "Do we have such men?" Brennar nodded slowly. "We do." Aldric lifted a parchment. "These are the names I propose. The 10 commanders of Highcrest. 1. Sir Roderick Hale. 2. Sir Malric Thornwall. 3. Sir Edric Vance. 4. Sir Halden Crestmore. 5. Sir Jareth Stonebrook. 6. Sir Corwin Ashford. 7. Sir Laurus Blackwood. 8. Sir Fenric Dawnspear. 9. Sir Rowan a Pike. 10. Sir Thaddeus Moreholt, the supreme ruler and right hand." Aldric set down the parchment and looked to the circle. "Over these 10, he said, we appoint 2 men." Rowan spoke the names with the weight of a decree. "Supreme ruler, Sir Thaylen Ward. Right hand, Sir Jorah Vance." Caelan nodded. "Thaylen Ward is steady. He will not be swayed by flattery," Dorian added. "And Jorah Vance sees what others miss. He will keep the commanders sharp." Garrick smirked. "And if any commander grows arrogant, Jorah will knock the pride out of him." Finian laughed. "Aye, with a single sentence." Brennar folded his arms. "These 2 will hold the kingdom together when we ride to war." Aldric looked around the circle, 7 men bound by loyalty standing with the 2 kings who led them. "Then it is decided," he said. Rowan placed his hand over his brother's. "And let it be known, the 2 kings and the circle of 7 stand above all. But these 12 men will carry the weight of the land beneath us." The circle stepped forward, each placing a hand on the table. 7 hands joining the 2 kings. Aldric spoke the final words. "Highcrest is strengthened, the kingdom stands, and together we will face whatever rises." The Oath of the Circle of 12. A Highcrest Chronicle. The courtyard of Highcrest Keep was silent. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of expectation, the kind that settles before a storm or a coronation. Torches burned along the stone walls, their flames bending in the wind like banners of fire. At the far end, upon the raised platform of carved granite, stood the 2 brother kings. Aldric, tall and steady, the weight of the kingdom resting easily on his shoulders. Rowan, fierce and watchful, the sword brother whose presence alone could steady an army. Behind them stood the circle of 7, Caelan, Dorian, Garrick, Finian, Brennar, 5 warriors bound to the kings by blood-deep loyalty. Before them stood the newly formed circle of 12, Supreme Ruler Thaylen Ward, Right Hand Jorah Vance, and the 10 commanders whose names were already spreading across the land like rising thunder. The kings stepped forward. "The calling!" Aldric's voice carried across the courtyard. "Circle of 12, step forth." They moved as one, boots striking the stone in a rhythm that echoed like a heartbeat. Rowan's gaze swept over them. "You have been chosen because you did not bend when others broke, because you stood when others fled, because righteousness is not a word to you, it is a life." Caelan stepped forward from the circle of 7. "You stand here not as men seeking honor, but as men ready to bear it," Dorian added, "and honor is heavier than any sword." Garrick smirked. "Heavier than Brennar's temper." Finian laughed under his breath. Rowan shot him a look, half warning, half amusement. Careful, brother. The tension broke into a ripple of quiet laughter, the kind only warriors share before solemn things. Then Aldrich raised his hand. Let the oath be spoken. The oath of allegiance. The circle of 12 dropped to one knee. Thaylen Ward spoke first, his voice steady as bedrock. We are ready, Aldrich nodded. Repeat after me. The kings and the circle of 7 placed their hands over their hearts. The 12 did the same. Together, the oath thundered across the courtyard. We swear allegiance to the Lord Jesus Christ, God of all. We swear allegiance to the King James Bible above all. We swear allegiance to High Crest. We swear allegiance to High King Aldrich and King Rowan. We will walk humbly in justice, love and truth. We will defend righteousness. We will live holy. God is our witness. When the final words fell, the wind itself seemed to bow. The sealing of brotherhood. Rowan stepped down from the platform and walked the line of the 12, looking each man in the eye. You are not merely commanders, he said. You are the shield of the kingdom. The sword of justice, the watchman of righteousness. Aldrich joined him. And if ever you falter, know this, the circle of 7 stands behind you, and behind them the throne of High Crest. Brennar stepped forward, arms crossed. If any enemy rises against you, they rise against us. Finian grinned. And if any of you rise against righteousness, we will put you back on your knees. Jorah Vance smirked. I'll make sure they never forget that. Thaylen Ward bowed his head. We will not fail the kings, nor the kingdom, nor the Lord who sees all. Aldrich placed a hand on Thalen's shoulder. Then rise, all of you. The circle of 12 rose as one. Rowan lifted his sword high. Let it be known across every border, every village, every mountain and valley, High Crest stands. High Crest is righteous. High Crest is united. The circle of 7 drew their blades. The circle of 12 followed. 13 swords rose behind the 2 kings, a wall of steel and devotion. Aldrich spoke the final decree. The circle of 12 is established, the kingdom is strengthened, and together we will face whatever rises. Chapter 3. The Message from the North. The morning began like any other in High Crest. Quiet, disciplined, steady. The kind of morning Rowan preferred. The kind where the world felt ordered, predictable, and under control. He was on the training grounds before sunrise, as he always was. The air was cool, the sky still a muted grey. His breath came out in faint clouds as he moved through a series of strikes with his practice blade. The rhythmic thud of wood against the training post echoed across the courtyard. Aldrich joined him a few minutes later, boots crunching lightly over the frost-kissed stone. You're early, Rowan said without looking up. Aldrich smirked. You're predictable. Rowan struck the post again. Predictable keeps us alive. Aldrich opened his mouth to reply, but the horns cut him off. 3 short blasts. 1 long. Both brothers froze. Rowan lowered his practice blade. That's... Aldrich nodded. Halvar's signal. The most respected king in the north. A man who did not waste breath, time or riders. Rowan wiped sweat from his brow. He wouldn't send messengers unless something was wrong. Or about to be, Aldrich said. The circle of 7 emerged from various corners of the courtyard, drawn by the unmistakable call. Kaelin came from the library wing, ink still on his fingers. Dorian stepped out from the barracks, cloak half fastened. Garrick arrived with a grin, cracking his knuckles as if expecting a fight. Finian jogged in, finishing the last bite of a roll. Brennar walked with slow, heavy steps, tightening the straps on his braces. Thorn, quiet always, appeared from the shadows of the archway. They gathered around the kings. The gates opened. A column of riders entered, cloaks trimmed in silver, armor dusted with frost from the northern winds. Their horses were lean and powerful, bred for endurance rather than show. The lead messenger dismounted and bowed deeply. Kings of High Crest, he said, voice steady despite the long ride. I bring word from King Halvar of the North. Aldrich stepped forward. Speak. The messenger produced a sealed parchment bearing the wolf and spear's crest. Aldrich broke the seal and read silently. Rowan watched his brother's eyes move, slow, deliberate, absorbing every word. Aldrich's expression didn't change, but Rowan knew him well enough to see the tension in his jaw. Aldrich lowered the parchment. Rowan, he said quietly, We have been asked to help a kingdom to the far east. Kaelin leaned in. War? No, Aldrich replied. Not yet, but instability. Their borders are strained, their forces divided. Dorian crossed his arms. And Halvar believes we are the ones to steady them. Garrick snorted. He's not wrong. Finian stepped closer. How far east? Aldrich pointed to the map carved into the courtyard stone. 17 days' march. Brennar grunted. That's a long way to go for a problem that isn't ours. Aldrich folded the parchment. It becomes ours when a respected king asks for help. Rowan nodded. And when a kingdom's people suffer, Aldrich looked at the seven. We meet in the war room. Now, the war room. The war room was dim, lit only by the hearth and the morning sun filtering through narrow windows. Maps covered the long table, borders, rivers, mountain passes, and distant kingdoms inked with precision. Aldrich placed the parchment in the center. King Eldrin Valhart of the Eastern Kingdom requests aid, he said. Not surrender. Aid, Rowan added. He is a good man. Halvar speaks highly of him. Kaelin traced the route with his finger. 17 days of rough terrain, forest, hills, and a river too wide to ford. Dorian nodded. We'll need engineers, timber crews, stoneworkers, Garrick smirked. And men who don't mind getting wet. Finian leaned on the table. Who goes? Aldrich answered. The Circle of Seven. 200,000 knights. And a royal guard of 250. Rowan hesitated, then spoke. My family wishes to come. The seven looked at him. Kaelin raised a brow. Your mother, your father, your sister and her sons? Rowan nodded. Yes, and Arya Morwyn, and her family, and 2 of her friends. Garrick grinned. Quite the entourage. Aldrich studied Rowan. Do you trust them to travel that far? Rowan answered simply, they want to stand with us. And they want to see the world. Aldrich nodded. Then they come, Rowan tells his family. Rowan found his family in the Great Hall. His mother looked up first. You have news, Rowan nodded. We leave for the east. 17 days' travel. A kingdom needs help. His father leaned back in his chair. And you want us to stay behind? Rowan shook his head. I want you safe. His sister stood. We're coming. Rowan blinked. You haven't even heard the details. We don't need to, she said. Where you go, we go. Rylan and Corrin exchanged excited glances. Adventure, Corrin whispered. Responsibility, Rylan corrected, though he couldn't hide his grin. Rowan sighed. I knew this would happen. His mother smiled. Then you should have told us sooner, Rowan tells Arya. Arya Morwyn was in the courtyard with her parents and 2 friends, Lysa and Maren, helping distribute supplies to the soldiers. Rowan approached. Arya looked up. You have news. We leave for the east, Rowan said. A kingdom needs help. Arya nodded once. Then we'll prepare, Rowan blinked. You're coming? Her father laughed. Son, she decided that before you walked over here. Arya's friends stepped forward. Lysa, we'll stay out of the way. Maren, we just want to see the world. Rowan exhaled. Then stay close. Arya gave a small, steady nod. We will, the decision. That evening, Rowan stood beside Aldrich on the balcony overlooking Highcrest. You're quiet, Aldrich said. Rowan shrugged. Just thinking. About the east? About taking my family into danger? Aldrich rested a hand on his shoulder. They trust you, and they want to stand with you. Rowan nodded slowly. Then we go. Aldrich looked out over the kingdom. At dawn. Chapter 4. The Circle of Seven meets. The war room of Highcrest was a place built for decisions that shaped kingdoms. Thick stone walls, a long oak table scarred by years of planning. Maps layered like the history of the world itself. A hearth that burned low and steady, as if it too listened. Aldrich entered first, parchment in hand, his expression unreadable. Rowan followed, jaw set, shoulders squared. One by one the Circle of Seven filed in. Each man different, each man essential. Kaelin, the strategist, rolled up his sleeves as he approached the table. Dorian, the quiet observer, took his usual place near the window. Garrick leaned against a pillar, arms crossed, already impatient. Finian grabbed a chair and spun it around before sitting. Brennar stood like a stone statue, unmoving. Thorn slipped in silently, as if he'd been there all along. Aldrich placed the parchment in the center of the table. King Halvar of the North sends word, he said. A kingdom to the far east is in trouble. Rowan rested both hands on the table, not collapsing, but strained. Kaelin leaned forward. What kind of strain? Aldrich tapped the parchment. Their forces are divided, their borders unstable. They have 2 castles, one safe, one vulnerable. The land between them is contested. Dorian nodded slowly. So they're stretched thin. Exactly, Aldrich said. Garrick scoffed. And they want us to fix it. Rowan shook his head. They want help, not rescue. Finian pointed at the map. 17 days' march. That's no small request. Thorn finally spoke, voice low. If Halvar asks, it matters. Aldrich nodded. It does. He looked at Rowan. Tell them, Rowan exhaled. My family wants to come. The 7 looked at him, not surprised, but curious. Kaelin raised a brow. Your mother, your father, your sister and her sons? Rowan nodded. Yes. Finian grinned. They've wanted adventure for years. Rowan hesitated. And Arya Morwyn, her family, and 2 of her friends. Garrick laughed. So we're taking half the kingdom. Rowan didn't smile. They want to see the world, and they want to stand with us. Aldrich studied his brother. Do you trust them to travel that far? Rowan didn't hesitate. Yes, Aldrich nodded. Then they come. The map. Aldrich unrolled a large map across the table. The parchment was thick, edges worn from years of use. He placed a stone weight on each corner. This is the Eastern Kingdom, he said. The 7 leaned in. Aldrich traced the route with his finger. Forest, hills, open plains, then the river. Finian whistled. That river is massive. Kaelin nodded. Too wide to ford, too deep to wade, no bridge. Garrick cracked his knuckles. So we build one. Rowan nodded. A solid bridge. Stone and timber. Dorian tapped the map. We'll need engineers, timber crews, stoneworkers. Aldrich looked around the table. We take 200,000 knights, and a royal guard of 250. Brennar finally spoke. That's enough to secure a kingdom. Aldrich nodded. It is the decision. Aldrich looked at each man in turn. Brothers, he said, this is not a war, but it is a responsibility. A kingdom asks for help, a respected king vouches for them. We cannot ignore this, Rowan added, and if we do nothing, instability spreads, borders fall, innocent people suffer. Kaelin folded his arms. Then the decision is simple. Dorian nodded. We go. Finian grinned. I've been bored anyway. Garrick smirked. Finally, something worth doing. Brennar placed a hand on the table. Highcrest stands with its allies. Thorn gave a single nod. We leave at dawn. Aldrich looked at Rowan. Prepare your family, he said. We ride soon. Rowan nodded. I will. The brothers speak. After the meeting, Aldrich and Rowan stepped out onto the balcony overlooking the courtyard. The sun was higher now, warming the stone. Soldiers moved below, preparing supplies, sharpening blades, tightening saddles. Aldrich leaned on the railing. You're thinking too much. Rowan didn't deny it. I'm taking my family into danger. They chose to go, Aldrich said. That doesn't make it easier. Aldrich looked at him. Rowan, you're not responsible for their choices. Only your own. Rowan exhaled slowly. I know. Aldrich clapped his shoulder. And you're not going alone. You have me. You have the 7. You have 200,000 knights. Rowan nodded. And Arya. Aldrich smirked. Briefly interested, are we? Rowan shook his head. Not like that. She's steady, that's all. Aldrich chuckled. Steady is good. Rowan looked out over the courtyard. We leave at dawn. Aldrich nodded. We do. Chapter 5. The Departure. Dawn came quietly to Highcrest, not with fanfare, not with trumpets, but with the slow, steady light that crept over the stone walls and settled on the kingdom like a blessing. The courtyard was already alive. Armored knights moved in disciplined lines, horses stamped and snorted, their breath rising in pale clouds. Supplies were loaded onto wagons. The royal guard of 250 stood in formation, silver cloaks catching the morning light. Rowan stood at the center of it all, adjusting the straps on his gauntlets. He had slept little, not from fear, but from the weight of responsibility. Taking 200,000 knights across the kingdom was one thing. Taking his family was another. Aldrich approached, cloak draped over one shoulder. You ready? He asked. Rowan exhaled. As ready as I'll ever be. Aldrich smirked. That's what you said before the Battle of Ironwood. And we survived that, Rowan said. Barely. They shared a brief, quiet laugh, the kind only brothers could. The family arrives. Rowan's mother was the first to reach him. She wrapped her arms around him tightly, as if she could anchor him to the ground. You look tired, she said. Rowan smiled faintly. I'm fine. You always say that. His father stepped forward, hands on his hips. Try not to get us killed. Rowan raised an eyebrow. You're the one who insisted on coming. His father shrugged. Your mother insisted. I just follow her. His mother elbowed him lightly. You follow no one. Rowan's sister approached next, her cloak neatly fastened, her hair braided back. We're ready, she said. Rylan and Corin stood behind her, both in their early 20s, both eager in different ways. Rylan, steady, observant, thoughtful. Corin, bold, restless, always on the edge of a grin. Corin stepped forward. Uncle Rowan, is it true we're travelling with 200,000 knights? Rowan nodded. It is. Corin's grin widened. This is going to be incredible, Rylan elbowed him. It's not a holiday, Corin shrugged. It can be both. Rowan shook his head. Just stay close, both of you. We will, Rylan said. Arya Morwyn and her family. Arya Morwyn arrived with her parents and her two friends, Lysa and Meryn. They carried their own packs, simple but well prepared. Arya approached Rowan with her usual calm. You said dawn, she said. We're here? Rowan nodded. Good. Her father stepped forward, extending a hand. Rowan, thank you for letting us join this journey. You chose to come, Rowan said. I only agreed. Arya's father laughed. That's how she works. She decides. We follow. Arya's mother smiled warmly. We're honoured to travel with Highcrest. Lysa bowed her head. We'll stay out of the way, Meryn added. We just want to see the world. Rowan nodded. Then stay close. The road is long. Arya met his eyes briefly, steady, respectful, unflinching. We will, she said. The circle of 7 gathers. The 7 approached as a group, each man carrying the weight of his own role. Kaelin, supplies accounted for, maps prepared. Dorian, scouts ready. Garrick, soldiers restless, good sign. Finian, I packed extra bread. Brenna, the men are disciplined. Thorn, the road is clear. Aldrich nodded. Then we move. The final moments before departure. Rowan stood with Aldrich at the front of the formation. You're quiet, Aldrich said. Rowan shrugged. Just thinking. About the East? About taking my family into danger? Aldrich rested a hand on his shoulder. They trust you, and they want to stand with you. Rowan nodded slowly. Then we go. Aldrich raised his voice. Highcrest. The courtyard fell silent. Today we ride not for conquest, Aldrich said, but for honour. A kingdom calls for help. We answer, because that is who we are. Rowan stepped forward. We ride with discipline, with strength, with righteousness, and with the knowledge that we do not ride alone. Aldrich lifted his hand. Highcrest, move. The departure. The gates of Highcrest opened. The sound was deep and resonant, echoing across the valley. The Royal Guard marched first, 250 soldiers in perfect formation. Behind them, Rowan's family and Arya's family rode together, flanked by knights. Then the circle of 7, then the kings, then the endless sea of 200,000 knights, armor gleaming, banners snapping in the wind. The people of Highcrest lined the streets, cheering, waving, calling out blessings. Rowan looked back once, at the kingdom he loved, the kingdom he would protect with his life. Then he looked forward, toward the east, toward the unknown, toward responsibility. Aldrich rode beside him. 17 days, Aldrich said. Rowan nodded. 17 days. And the greatest procession in the kingdom's history began. Chapter 6. The River. The 17th day of travel began like all the others, steady, disciplined, predictable, the kind of rhythm Rowan appreciated, the kind that kept 200,000 knights moving as one. But by midday, the terrain changed, the trees thinned, the ground sloped downward, and the sound reached them first, a deep, rolling thunder that wasn't thunder at all. Aldrich slowed his horse. Hear that? Rowan nodded. Water. A lot of it. The 7 rode ahead, cresting a small ridge, and there it was, a river so wide it looked like a lake. A river so deep it swallowed the sunlight. A river so strong it churned like a living thing. It stretched from horizon to horizon, a barrier carved by God himself. Garrick let out a low whistle. Well, that's a problem. Finian leaned forward in his saddle. That's not a river, that's a mistake. Kalen studied the current. No ford, no shallows, no crossing, Dorian nodded. And no bridge, Brennar grunted. Then we build one. Aldrich dismounted, boots sinking slightly into the damp earth. He walked to the water's edge, watching the current swirl around jagged rocks. Rowan joined him. It's wider than we expected, Rowan said. Aldrich nodded. And deeper. Rowan kicked a stone into the water. It vanished instantly. Aldrich turned to the 7. We build. The work begins. The command spread quickly. Engineers moved forward. Timber crews unpacked their tools. Stoneworkers examined the terrain. Knights formed work lines. Supplies were redistributed. Rowan's family and Arya's family dismounted nearby. His mother looked at the river and shook her head. That's impressive. His father crossed his arms. That's impossible. Rowan smirked. Not for Highcrest. Rylan and Corran stared at the water with wide eyes. Corran, we're building a bridge across that? Rylan, we're helping build a bridge across that. Corran groaned. I was afraid you'd say that. Rowan clapped both nephews on the shoulders. Grab tools. You're working with the timber crews. Corran sighed dramatically. Adventure, he said. Rylan smirked. It is an adventure. Arya and her family. Arya Morwyn approached with her parents and friends. Her father looked at the river. That's a challenge. Rowan nodded. We'll manage. Arya's mother smiled. We'll help however we can. Lisa and Maren stepped forward. Lisa, we can carry water to the workers. Maren, and food. Rowan nodded. Good. Stay with the supply lines. Arya looked at the river, then at Rowan. It's beautiful, she said quietly. Rowan followed her gaze. It is. She didn't say anything else. She didn't need to. She simply walked toward the workers, steady and unhurried. Rowan watched her go for a moment, then turned back to the task. Duty first. Always. The bridge. The first week was spent gathering materials. Trees were felled, stones were cut, ropes were braided, supports were carved. The second week was spent building the foundation. Massive stone pillars were lowered into the riverbed. Timber beams were driven deep into the earth. Workers labored from dawn until dusk. The third week was spent raising the structure. Planks were laid, rails were secured, supports were reinforced. The sound of construction filled the valley. Hammer strikes! Sawing timber! Shouted orders. The rumble of stone carts, the creak of ropes under strain. Rowan worked beside his nephews, sweat streaking his face, muscles burning. Corran groaned as he lifted another beam. This is heavier than it looks! Rylan smirked. Everything is heavier than it looks, Rowan chuckled. Keep moving. Arya carried water to the workers, her step steady, her expression calm. She didn't hover, she didn't fuss. She simply helped. Her father worked with the timber crews, her mother helped prepare meals. Lisa and Maren organized supply lines. Rowan noticed, briefly, Arya's steadiness. But duty always called him away, the completion. On the 21st day the final plank was laid. Aldrich stood at the center of the bridge, hands on his hips, surveying the work. It's solid, he said. Rowan nodded. It'll hold. Kalen tapped one of the beams. This will last for generations. Garrick grinned. Good. I don't want to build another one. Finian wiped sweat from his brow. I'm never touching a hammer again. Brenner crossed his arms. You'll touch one tomorrow, Finian groaned. Aldrich raised his voice. Highcrest, cross! The royal guard crossed first, then Rowan's family, then Arya's family, then the 7, then the kings, then the endless sea of knights. The bridge held. The river roared beneath them, but the structure stood firm, a testament to discipline, unity, and sheer human will. Rowan paused at the center of the bridge, looking out over the water. Aldrich joined him. 17 days behind us, Aldrich said. Rowan nodded. And the Eastern Kingdom ahead. Aldrich looked toward the horizon. Let's finish this. Rowan exhaled slowly. We will. They crossed the final stretch of the bridge, and the journey continued. Chapter 7. Arrival at the Eastern Kingdom. The 24th day of the journey began with a quiet stillness. Not the stillness of emptiness, but the stillness of anticipation. The land had changed. The air was warmer, the trees taller, the ground softer beneath the horses' hooves. Streams wound through the forest like silver threads catching the morning light. Rowan rode at the front beside Aldrich, the circle of 7 close behind. The families rode in the protected center of the formation, surrounded by the royal guard. Rylan and Corran whispered excitedly to each other. Arya rode with her parents and friends, calm and steady as always. Rowan's mother watched the landscape with quiet awe. "Beautiful," she murmured. Rowan nodded. "It is." Aldrich pointed ahead. "We're close. The first sight of the Eastern Castle." They crested a hill, and the world opened. The Eastern Kingdom's castle rose from the valley like something carved from the earth itself, not towering like Highcrest, not imposing, but alive, pale stone walls covered in living vines. Gardens terraced along the slopes. Streams running through courtyards, trees growing inside the outer walls, their branches arching overhead like a natural cathedral. It was a kingdom built in harmony with the land, not against it. Rowan's sister gasped softly. "It's breathtaking." Arya's mother nodded. "I've never seen anything like it." Corran leaned forward in his saddle. "This is incredible." Rylan smiled. "It's peaceful." Rowan studied the castle carefully. "It's well designed, beautiful but defensible." Aldrich smirked. "You would notice that. The welcome." As the Highcrest procession approached, the gates opened. A group of riders emerged, their armor lighter than Highcrest steel, designed for speed and movement through forest terrain. Their cloaks were green and silver, blending with the landscape. At their head rode King Eldrin Valhart, tall, broad-shouldered, grey streaks in his beard. Eyes sharp but kind. Beside him rode Queen Solara Valhart, graceful and composed, her presence warm and steady. Behind them rode their children, Prince Joran, sharp-eyed, analytical. Prince Corvan, calm, thoughtful. Princess Ilara, gentle, wise. Princess Riona, bold, spirited. Princess Mirael, warm, steady. Princess Selene, composed, observant. They dismounted as Aldrich and Rowan approached. King Eldrin stepped forward, extending his hand. "Kings of Highcrest," he said, voice deep and sincere, "you honor us with your presence." Aldrich clasped his forearm. "We come as friends." Rowan clasped Eldrin's other arm. "And as brothers." Queen Solara bowed her head. "Your journey was long. You are welcome here." Rowan's mother stepped forward, bowing respectfully. "Your kingdom is beautiful." Solara smiled. "It is our home. And now, for a time, yours as well." The royal children meet Rowan's family. Princess Mirael approached Rowan's sister first. "You must be Rowan's sister," she said warmly. Rowan's sister laughed. "Is it that obvious?" Mirael smiled. "You carry the same steadiness." Princess Selene stepped beside her. "We are honored to meet you." Rylan and Corran stood a little straighter as the princesses approached. Princess Ilara smiled gently at Rylan. "You traveled far." Rylan nodded. "It was worth it." Princess Riona smirked at Corran. "You look like trouble." Corran grinned. "Only sometimes." Princess Riona raised an eyebrow. "We'll see." Rowan watched the interactions quietly. "Not romantic, not dramatic, just human, just real." Arya stood beside her parents, observing respectfully. Princess Selene approached her. "You traveled with the kings?" Arya nodded. "I did." Selene smiled. "Then you are brave." Arya shook her head. "Just willing." Rowan noticed, briefly, the mutual respect between them. The circle of 7 meets the Eastern Royals. King Eldrin turned to the 7. "You must be the circle of 7, he said. Kaelin bowed slightly. "We are," Eldrin smiled. "Your reputation reaches even here." Garrick grinned. "Only the good parts, I hope." Prince Joran stepped forward. "Your strategies are studied in our academies." Kaelin raised an eyebrow. "Studied?" Joran nodded. "And admired." Finian elbowed Kaelin. "Try not to let that go to your head." Brenna clasped Prince Corvan's forearm. "Your kingdom is strong." Corvan nodded. "Not strong enough. That is why we asked for help." Thorn simply bowed his head. Prince Corvan bowed back, 2 quiet men recognizing each other. The procession into the castle. The gates opened fully. The Highcrest procession entered the Eastern Kingdom's castle grounds. Gardens stretched in every direction. Flowers, trees, streams, stone paths winding through the landscape. Children ran through the courtyards. Workers tended to the gardens. Soldiers trained in open fields. The air smelled of pine and fresh water. Rowan's mother whispered, "It feels alive." Rowan nodded. "It does." Arya walked beside her parents, taking in the sights with quiet appreciation. Rylan and Corrin whispered excitedly to each other about the architecture, the gardens, the princesses, though Rylan tried to hide his interest more than Corrin did. Aldrich rode beside Rowan. "Beautiful," Aldrich said. Rowan nodded. "And peaceful." Aldrich's expression hardened slightly, which means the instability they spoke of must be serious. Rowan agreed. "We'll find out soon." The first council. King Eldrin led them into a large hall, open, airy, filled with natural light, not like Highcrest's stone-walled council chamber. This one felt like a meeting place built in partnership with the land. Eldrin gestured for them to sit. "We will speak plainly," he said. "Our kingdom is divided by distance. 2 castles, 1 safe, 1 vulnerable. The land between them grows unstable." Aldrich leaned forward. "What do you need?" Eldrin met his eyes. "Help, reinforcement, stability, we can handle the rest." Rowan nodded. "We can do that." Queen Solara added, "We are grateful, truly." Aldrich looked at Rowan. Rowan looked at Aldrich. The decision was already made. "We will help," Aldrich said. Rowan added, "Highcrest stands with the East." King Eldrin bowed his head. "Then we are brothers." Chapter 8. The Problem. The council hall of the Eastern Kingdom was unlike anything Rowan had ever seen. Highcrest's war room was stone, iron, and firelight, built for endurance. This hall was built for clarity. Tall windows let in the morning sun. Vines climbed the pillars. A stream ran beneath the floor, visible through glass panels, its soft murmur filling the room with a calm that contrasted sharply with the tension in the air. King Eldrin Valhart stood at the head of the table, hands clasped behind his back. Queen Solara stood beside him, composed and steady. Aldrich and Rowan took their seats. The circle of 7 stood behind them, silent and watchful. Rowan's family and Arya's family waited along the edges of the hall, respectful but attentive. Eldrin began. "Kings of Highcrest," he said, "you have travelled far. You deserve the truth plainly." Aldrich nodded. "Speak freely." Eldrin gestured to a large map carved into the table's surface. 2 castles marked in silver, with a long stretch of forest and hills between them. "This," Eldrin said, "is our kingdom. 2 castles, one here where you stand, the other 7 days east." Rowan studied the map. "And the land between them?" Eldrin exhaled. "Unstable." Queen Solara stepped forward. "Our forces are divided. Our people are safe in the eastern castle, but this region," she gestured around them, "this region grows more difficult to hold." Kaelin leaned in. "Why?" Prince Joran answered. "Because enemies move through the forests, small groups, fast, unpredictable." Prince Corvan added, "They do not seek conquest. They seek disruption." Garrick crossed his arms. "Cowards," Dorian nodded. "And effective," Eldrin continued. "We can hold the eastern castle. We can protect our people. But we cannot hold both regions at once." Aldrich's jaw tightened. "So you're losing ground?" Eldrin didn't deny it. "We are—" Rowan looked at the map again. "What do you need from us?" Eldrin met his eyes. "Take this castle, take this region, make it Highcrest territory. We will handle the rest." A quiet fell over the hall. Rowan's mother whispered to his father, "They're giving us part of their kingdom." His father nodded, out of necessity. Princess Mirael stepped closer to Rowan's sister. "We trust Highcrest, we trust your kings." Princess Selene added softly, "And we trust your family." Rowan's sister smiled. "We won't fail you." "The agreement." Aldrich stood. "You ask us to take control of this castle and the surrounding lands." Eldrin nodded. "Yes." "You ask us to secure your borders." "Yes." "You ask us to protect your people." Eldrin's voice softened. "I ask you to protect our future." Rowan rose beside his brother. "We will," Rowan said. "Highcrest stands with the East." Queen Solara bowed her head. "Then we are bound." Eldrin extended his arm. Aldrich clasped it. Rowan clasped the other. The agreement was sealed. The Eastern royal children stay. Eldrin turned to his children. Joran, Corvan, Elara, Riona, Mirael, Selene. They stepped forward. "You will remain here," Eldrin said. "With Highcrest." Princess Riona frowned. "Father—" Eldrin raised a hand. "This is not punishment. This is trust." Prince Joran nodded. "We understand," Prince Corvan added. "We will serve." Princess Elara bowed her head. "We will honor your decision." Princess Mirael smiled softly. "We will learn from Highcrest." Princess Selene looked at Rowan's family. "And we will stand with them." Rowan's nephews exchanged glances, respectful, curious, quietly hopeful. "The Eastern King and Queen depart." Eldrin turned to Aldrich and Rowan. "We will take our armies and secure the land between the castles. Once the path is safe, we will retire to the Eastern Castle." Solara added, "We will return for celebrations when the time is right." Aldrich bowed. "We will hold this region." Rowan nodded. "And we will strengthen it." Eldrin placed a hand on Rowan's shoulder. "Your family will rule here. This land is yours now." Rowan's mother gasped softly. His father straightened. His sister covered her mouth in surprise. Rylan and Corrin exchanged stunned looks. Arya's father whispered, "This is remarkable." Arya simply watched Rowan. Steady, calm, respectful. Rowan exhaled slowly. "We will not fail you." Eldrin smiled. "I know. The Circle of Seven speak." After the Eastern King and Queen left the hall, the Seven gathered around Aldrich and Rowan. "Kaelin, this is a significant responsibility. Dorian, and a strategic advantage." Garrick grinned. "And a challenge." Finian shrugged. "Better than sitting at home." Brennar nodded. "We can secure this land," Thorne spoke quietly. "We will." Aldrich looked at Rowan. "This changes everything," Aldrich said. Rowan nodded. "For the better." Rowan and Arya. As the hall emptied, Arya approached Rowan. "You have much to carry," she said. Rowan nodded. "I do. You'll carry it well." Rowan looked at her, brief, steady, respectful. "Thank you," he said. Arya bowed her head slightly. "We're with you." Then she walked away, joining her parents. Rowan watched her go for a moment, then turned back to the map. "Duty first. Always." Chapter 9. 5 months of peace. Peace did not arrive all at once. It came slowly, like dawn spreading across a valley. First a faint glow, then a soft warmth, then a steady light that settled over everything. The Eastern Kingdom's castle became a second home to the Highcrest delegation, not by decree, not by ceremony, but by the simple daily rhythm of shared life. The first week was filled with strategy, the second with structure, the third with familiarity. And by the end of the first month, Rowan realized something he had never expected. They belonged here, not permanently, not as replacements, but as brothers and sisters in arms, the work of stabilizing the region. Aldrich and Rowan spent their mornings with the Circle of Seven and the Eastern Princes, studying maps, planning patrol routes, and coordinating the movements of the 200,000 knights. Prince Joran proved sharp-minded and analytical. "We should reinforce the northern ridge," Joran said one morning, pointing to a narrow pass. "It's the most likely route for small enemy bands." Kaelin nodded. "Agreed. We'll send scouts." Prince Corvin was quieter but no less capable. "Our people trust you," Corvin said to Rowan. "Your presence alone steadies them." Rowan shook his head. "It's not me. It's the unity." Corvin smiled faintly. "Unity begins with leaders." Garrick clapped Corvin on the back. "You're smarter than you look." Corvin smirked. "I get that a lot." Finian laughed. "He's learning from us," Brenner grunted. "Let's hope not too much." Rowan's family settles in. Rowan's mother quickly became beloved among the Eastern servants and workers. She helped in the kitchens, tended to the gardens, and spoke kindly to everyone she met. Queen Solara often joined her. "You have a gentle strength," Solara said one afternoon as they arranged flowers in the courtyard. Rowan's mother smiled. "Strength is quiet more often than loud." Solara nodded. "I agree." Rowan's father spent his days with the Eastern craftsmen, learning their methods and sharing Highcrest techniques. "These beams are lighter," he said, examining a piece of Eastern timber. "But strong." The craftsman nodded. "Our forests grow differently." Rowan's father grinned. "I like it." Rowan's sister became fast friends with Princess Mirael and Princess Selene. They walked the gardens together, shared meals, and spoke late into the evenings. Mirael laughed often. Selene listened deeply. Rowan's sister fit between them like a missing piece. Rylan and Corrin, Rowan's nephews, found their own place in the Eastern Kingdom. Rylan gravitated toward Princess Elara, not romantically but respectfully. They shared a quiet understanding. One afternoon, Elara found Rylan studying a map alone. "You're thoughtful," she said. Rylan shrugged. "I try to be." Elara smiled. "It suits you." Corrin, on the other hand, was drawn to Princess Riona's boldness. Riona approached him during training one morning. "You fight well," she said. Corrin grinned. "I try." Riona smirked. Try harder, Corin laughed. I like her. Rylan sighed. Of course you do. Arya and Rowan. Arya Morwen spent her days helping where she was needed, carrying supplies, assisting the healers, organizing provisions, and learning the rhythms of the Eastern Kingdom. She never sought attention, she never lingered, she simply worked. Rowan noticed, briefly, her steadiness. One afternoon they crossed paths in the courtyard. You're adapting well, Rowan said. Arya nodded. It's peaceful here, it is. She looked at him, calm, steady, unflinching. You carry much, she said. Rowan shrugged. Responsibility is weight, but it's good weight. Arya nodded. You carry it well. Then she walked away, joining her friends. Rowan watched her go for a moment, then returned to his duties. Duty first, always. The Eastern Princes and the Seven. The Circle of Seven became legends among the Eastern soldiers. Kaelin taught strategy classes. Dorian trained scouts. Garrick led strength drills. Finian organized supply lines. Brennar oversaw discipline. Thorne taught silent movement. And Rowan and Aldrich led everything with calm authority. Prince Joran often sparred with Kaelin. You think too much, Kaelin said during one match. Joran parried. Thinking keeps me alive, Kaelin smirked. Sometimes. But sometimes instinct wins. Prince Corvan trained with Brennar. You're quiet, Brennar said. Corvan nodded. So are you. Brennar grunted. Good. The months pass. The first month brought structure. The second brought familiarity. The third brought unity. The fourth brought trust. The fifth brought something deeper. Connection. Meals were shared. Stories exchanged. Laughter echoed through the halls. The gardens became gathering places. The training fields became arenas of camaraderie. Rowan's family and Arya's family became woven into the fabric of the Eastern Kingdom. The princesses grew close to Rowan's sister. The princes respected the Seven. The workers admired Rowan's mother. The craftsmen learned from Rowan's father. Rylan and Corin found their place among the Eastern youth. Arya found quiet purpose. And Rowan found peace. Not rest, not ease, but peace, the kind that comes from knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be. The calm before the celebrations. One evening, Rowan stood on a balcony overlooking the gardens. Aldrich joined him. You're quiet, Aldrich said. Rowan nodded. Just thinking. About what? About how quickly this place became home. Aldrich smiled. Good people make a place feel like home. Rowan exhaled. They do. Aldrich leaned on the railing. And soon, we celebrate. Rowan looked at him. Celebrate what? Aldrich smirked. Everything we've built. Rowan nodded slowly. It's been a good 5 months. Aldrich clapped his shoulder. And the best is yet to come. Chapter 10. The Weddings. 5 months had passed since Highcrest arrived in the Eastern Kingdom. 5 months of unity. 5 months of shared meals, shared work, shared burdens. 5 months of 2 kingdoms becoming one family. And now, the time had come for celebration. Not one celebration, not 2, but 3. 3 weddings, 3 unions. 3 days that would bind Highcrest and the Eastern Kingdom together for generations. The castle grounds were transformed, lanterns hung from the trees, tables were set in the gardens, musicians tuned their instruments. Workers arranged flowers along the stone paths. The air carried the scent of pine, fresh water, and anticipation. Rowan stood on a balcony overlooking the preparations. Aldrich joined him. You look like a man thinking too much, Aldrich said. Rowan smirked. I usually am. Aldrich leaned on the railing. 3 weddings in 3 days. That's a lot of celebration. Rowan nodded. It is. Aldrich studied him. You ready for yours? Rowan exhaled slowly. I will be. Aldrich clapped his shoulder. Good, because it's happening. Day 1, Rylan and Princess Ilara. The first wedding was held in the Eastern Gardens, a place of quiet beauty, where streams wound through the grass and sunlight filtered through the leaves. Princess Ilara stood with her sisters, dressed in a simple gown of pale green. Rylan stood with Rowan and Corin, adjusting his cloak nervously. You're shaking, Corin whispered. Rylan glared. I'm not shaking, you are. Rowan stepped between them. Both of you breathe. Rylan exhaled. I'm fine. Rowan nodded. You are. Princess Miriel approached Rylan with a warm smile. Ilara is ready. Rylan swallowed. So am I. The ceremony was simple, grounded, and beautiful. King Eldrin spoke first. Rylan of Highcrest, he said. You have shown wisdom, steadiness, and honor. You have earned our trust. Princess Ilara stepped forward, her voice soft but sure. "I choose you," she said, "not for your title, not for your kingdom, but for your character." Rylan bowed his head. "And I choose you, with respect, with loyalty, with strength." The two clasped hands. Aldrich placed a silver circlet on Rylan's head. Queen Solara placed one on Ilara's. The crowd cheered. Rowan's mother wiped a tear. Rowan's father nodded proudly. Rowan's sister hugged Mirelle and Celine. Arya smiled quietly beside her parents. Rylan and Ilara walked down the garden path together, not as lovers in a storybook, but as two steady souls choosing the same road. Day 2, Corrin and Princess Riona. The second wedding was nothing like the first. Princess Riona insisted on holding it in the training courtyard, the place where she and Corrin had spent countless hours sparring, arguing and challenging each other. Corrin stood with Rowan and Rylan, bouncing on his heels. Rowan sighed. "Stop moving, I can't." Rylan smirked. "You're nervous." Corrin scoffed. "I'm excited." Princess Riona approached in a deep red gown, her expression fierce and confident. "You look terrified," she said to Corrin. Corrin grinned. "Only a little." Riona smirked. "Good, keeps you humble." The ceremony was bold, loud, and full of laughter. King Eldrin raised his voice. "Corrin of Highcrest, you are bold, reckless, and full of fire." Corrin grinned. "Thank you. That was not entirely a compliment." Corrin shrugged. "I'll take it anyway." Princess Riona stepped forward. "You challenge me," she said. "You frustrate me, you make me think, and I respect you." Corrin nodded. "And I respect you. Even when you hit me," Riona smirked. "Especially then." The crowd laughed. Aldrich placed a silver circlet on Corrin's head. Queen Solara placed one on Riona's. The courtyard erupted in cheers. Garrick shouted, "About time!" Finian tossed bread in the air. Brennar shook his head but smiled. Thorn nodded approvingly. Corrin and Riona walked together, two flames burning in the same direction. Day 3, Rowan and Arya. The third day was different. Quieter, steadier, more solemn, not romantic, not dramatic, just real. The ceremony was held in the great hall, decorated with silver banners and eastern greenery. Rowan stood with Aldrich and the 7. Aldrich leaned in. "You ready?" Rowan nodded. "Yes." Arya entered with her parents and friends, Lysa and Maren, walking with calm, steady steps. She wore a simple gown of white and silver, no jewels, no extravagance, just dignity. Rowan's mother whispered, "She's perfect." Rowan's father nodded. "She is." Arya approached Rowan. They stood face to face, two steady souls choosing each other without flourish. King Eldrin spoke. "Rowan of Highcrest," he said, "you have shown strength, leadership, and righteousness. You have earned the respect of 2 kingdoms." Queen Solara turned to Arya. "Arya Morwen, you have shown steadiness, humility, and quiet courage. You are a blessing to all who know you." Rowan spoke first. "I choose you," he said, "not for beauty, not for status, but for steadiness, for character, for truth." Arya nodded. "And I choose you," she said, "not for power, not for title, but for who you are." Aldrich stepped forward. He placed a silver circlet on Rowan's head, the symbol of Highcrest's royal line. Then he placed one on Arya's head, the symbol of her new place in the kingdom. Rowan's mother cried softly. Rowan's father stood tall. Rowan's sister hugged Mirelle and Celine. Rylan and Corrin cheered loudly. Arya's parents held each other proudly. Lysa and Maren clapped with joy. The hall erupted in applause. Rowan and Arya walked together, steady, grounded, united. Not a fairy tale, not a romance. Just 2 people choosing the same path. Chapter 11. Rowan's family becomes rulers. The celebrations lasted long into the night after Rowan and Arya's wedding. Laughter echoed through the gardens. Lanterns glowed like stars caught in the branches. Music drifted across the courtyards. 2 kingdoms, once strangers, now moved as one. But dawn brought a different kind of moment. A moment of responsibility. A moment of legacy. A moment that would shape the future of both Highcrest and the Eastern Kingdom. It began in the Great Hall. The long table was cleared. The banners of both kingdoms hung side by side. The circle of 7 stood behind Aldrich and Rowan. The Eastern royal children stood behind their parents. Rowan's family and Arya's family waited along the edges of the hall. King Eldrin stepped forward. "Today," he said, We complete what began 5 months ago. Queen Solara nodded. Today we entrust this land to those who have proven worthy. Rowan's mother looked at her husband, eyes wide. Rowan's father straightened his posture. Rowan's sister clasped her hands together. Rylan and Corrin exchanged nervous glances. Arya stood beside Rowan, steady as ever. The Eastern King speaks. Eldrin turned to Rowan's family. You came here as guests, he said. You became allies. And now, you are family. He gestured to the map carved into the table. This region, this castle, these lands, these people need leadership, strong leadership, steady leadership, leadership that honors righteousness. He looked at Rowan's father. You are a man of wisdom. He looked at Rowan's mother. You are a woman of compassion. He looked at Rowan's sister. You are a woman of strength. He looked at Rylan and Corrin. And you two are young men of promise, Corrin whispered to Rylan. He means me. Rylan elbowed him. He means both of us. Princess Riona smirked. He means mostly him. Corrin grinned. I'll take it. Princess Alara smiled softly at Rylan. You'll do well. Rylan nodded. We'll try. The crowning. Eldrin raised his voice. Rowan's family, step forward. They did. Rowan's mother, Rowan's father, Rowan's sister, Rylan, Corrin, and their new brides, Princess Alara and Princess Riona. Queen Solara carried a wooden chest carved with Eastern symbols. She opened it slowly. Inside were crowns, not golden, not jeweled, not extravagant, but silver, pure, polished and symbolic. Crowns of responsibility, crowns of stewardship, crowns of unity. Solara handed the first crown to Eldrin. He placed it on Rowan's father's head. Lord of the Eastern Highcrest territory, Eldrin said. Rule with wisdom. Rowan's father bowed deeply. I will. Solara handed the next crown to Eldrin. He placed it on Rowan's mother's head. Lady of the Eastern Highcrest territory, Eldrin said. Guide with compassion. Rowan's mother wiped a tear. I will. The next crown went to Rowan's sister. Lady Regent, Eldrin said. Stand with your family. Rowan's sister nodded firmly. Always. Then came Rylan and Corrin. Eldrin placed a crown on Rylan's head. Protector of the eastern borders. Rylan bowed. I'll guard them well. Then Corrin. Commander of the Eastern Guard. Corrin grinned. I won't let you down. Princess Alara and Princess Riona received their crowns next, symbols of their new roles as bridges between kingdoms. Princess Mirael and Princess Selene clapped proudly. Prince Joran nodded with approval. Prince Corvan smiled quietly. Rowan and Arya watch. Rowan stood beside Arya, watching his family receive their crowns. Arya spoke softly. They look right, she said. Rowan nodded. They do. You're proud. Rowan exhaled. I am. Arya looked at him. You should be. Rowan glanced at her. Brief, steady, respectful. You helped make this possible, he said. Arya shook her head. No, you did. Rowan didn't argue. He simply stood with her, watching the moment unfold. The Eastern royal children speak. After the crowning, the Eastern royal children approached Rowan's family. Princess Miriel hugged Rowan's sister. We're family now, Princess Selene added, and we're not going anywhere. Princess Alara smiled at Rylan. We'll build something good. Rylan nodded. Together. Princess Riona smirked at Corrin. Try not to break anything. Corrin laughed. No promises. Prince Joran approached Rowan's father. You have our respect, he said. Rowan's father nodded. And you have ours. Prince Corvan clasped Rowan's mother's hands gently. You will be loved here, he said. She smiled warmly. I already am. The circle of 7 reflect. Later, the 7 gathered with Aldrich and Rowan in the courtyard. Kaelin, your family will rule well. Dorian, they fit here. Garrick grinned. Corrin as commander, that'll be interesting. Finian laughed. He'll keep things lively. Brennar nodded. Rylan will balance him. Thorne spoke quietly. This land is in good hands. Aldrich looked at Rowan. You did well, he said. Rowan shook his head. We all did, Aldrich smirked. Still. This is your family's legacy now. Rowan exhaled slowly. I know, the final decision. That evening, Rowan's father approached him. You're leaving soon, he said. Rowan nodded. In a month. His father placed a hand on his shoulder. We'll be fine, he said. This land is home now. Rowan looked at the castle, the gardens, the people. It suits you, Rowan said. His father smiled. It does. Rowan's mother hugged him tightly. We'll see you again, she said. Rowan nodded. You will. Arya approached, standing beside Rowan. Rowan's mother smiled at her. Take care of him. Arya nodded. I will. Rowan looked at Arya. Steady, grounded, united. and for the first time he felt the weight of what they had built. 2 kingdoms, 1 family, a legacy that would last. Chapter 12. The Return to Highcrest. The month after the weddings passed more quickly than Rowan expected, not because the days were light, they were full. Not because the work was easy, it was demanding. But because the Eastern Kingdom had become something Rowan never anticipated, a second home. The castle grounds were alive each morning with the sound of training. The gardens filled with laughter in the afternoons. The halls glowed with lantern light in the evenings as families shared meals, stories and plans for the future. But the time had come. Highcrest needed its kings. The Circle of 7 needed to return to their duties. And Rowan's family, now crowned rulers of the Eastern Highcrest territory, needed to stand on their own. The morning of departure arrived quietly. No fanfare, no trumpets, just the soft rustle of leaves and the steady breath of horses being saddled. Rowan stood in the courtyard, adjusting the straps on his gauntlets. Aldrich approached, cloak draped over one shoulder. "You're thinking again," Aldrich said. Rowan smirked. "I usually am." Aldrich studied him. "You ready?" Rowan exhaled. "As ready as I'll ever be," Aldrich nodded. "Then let's say our goodbyes." Rowan's family. Rowan's mother approached first, her eyes warm but steady. "You're leaving," she said. Rowan nodded. "We are." She cupped his face in her hands. "You've done well, Rowan. You've given us a home, a purpose, a future." Rowan swallowed. "You built that yourselves." His mother smiled. "Maybe. But you opened the door." Rowan's father stepped forward, clasping Rowan's forearm. "We'll keep this land strong," he said. "You don't need to worry." Rowan nodded. "I know." His sister hugged him tightly. "Come back soon," she said. "I will." Rylan and Corin approached next, both wearing their new crowns with a mixture of pride and disbelief. Rylan bowed his head. "We'll guard the borders," Corin grinned. "And try not to start any wars." Rowan raised an eyebrow. "Try harder," Corin laughed. "No promises." Princess Ilara and Princess Riona joined their husbands, offering Rowan respectful bows. "You will always be welcome here," Ilara said. Riona smirked. "And we'll keep Corin in line." Corin groaned. "Do you have to?" Riona nodded. "Yes, Arya and her family." Arya approached with her parents and friends, Lisa and Maren. Her father extended his hand. "Rowan, thank you for everything." Rowan shook his hand firmly. "Thank you for standing with us." Arya's mother hugged Rowan briefly. "Take care of her." Rowan nodded. "I will." Lisa and Maren bowed respectfully. "You two were a blessing here," Rowan said. Lisa smiled. "We learned much," Maren added, "and we'll be back." Then Arya stepped forward. She didn't speak at first, she didn't need to. Rowan looked at her, steady, grounded, respectful. "You ready?" he asked. Arya nodded. "Yes," Rowan exhaled. "Then let's go home, the Eastern royal children." Princess Mirael and Princess Celine approached Rowan's sister, hugging her tightly. "We'll take care of each other," Mirael said. Celine nodded. "And we'll write often." Prince Joran clasped Rowan's forearm. "You lead well," Joran said. Rowan nodded. "So do you." Prince Corvan bowed his head. "You have our respect." Rowan returned the gesture. "And you have ours, the Circle of 7. The 7 gathered around Rowan and Aldrich. Kaelin, the region is stable. Dorian, the people trust your family." Garrett grinned. "And Corin will keep things interesting." Finian laughed. "Too interesting." Brennar nodded. "They'll be fine," Thorne spoke quietly. "It's time." Aldrich looked at Rowan. "You ready?" he asked. Rowan nodded. "Let's go home." The Eastern King and Queen return. Just as the Highcrest procession prepared to leave, the gates opened. King Eldrin and Queen Solara rode in with their armies, returning from securing the land between the 2 castles. Eldrin dismounted quickly. "You leave today," he said. Aldrich nodded. "We do." Eldrin clasped both kings' forearms. "You have given us stability," he said. "You have given us unity, and you have given us family." Solara approached Rowan's mother, embracing her warmly. "You are part of us now," Solara said. Rowan's mother smiled. "And you are part of us." Eldrin turned to Rowan. "Your family will rule well," he said. Rowan nodded. "They will. And you," Eldrin added, "will always have a place here." Rowan bowed his head. "Thank you." The departure. The high crest procession formed in the courtyard, the royal guard, the circle of 7, Aldrich, Rowan, Arya, and the knights who had travelled with them. Rowan looked back at the eastern castle, the gardens, the walls, the people who had become family. Then he looked forward, toward Highcrest, toward duty, toward the future. Aldrich raised his hand. "Highcrest, move!" The gates opened, the horses stepped forward, the journey home began. Rowan rode beside Arya, the 7 behind them, Aldrich at the front. The Eastern Kingdom faded behind them, but the bond remained, strong, steady, unbreakable. 2 kingdoms, 1 family. A legacy that would endure,